Okay. This is the one you have all been waiting for. Alright. Red Dreaded Entertainment. Destiny has arrived. Red Dreaded Entertainment, what is up? My name is Akasan.
What's up, Super Crew? It's me, DC Son.
And here we are. This is the one everybody has been wanting. I could not react to this on my own because everybody wanted to see Mr. DC Sons with a side of salt watching this honest trailer obliterate. So, DC Son, how many times? Actually, where's your phone?
It is...
Show him the cover, because I think I spotted it earlier. Yeah, I'm just wondering. He didn't even know we were doing it today. But, yeah, I thought that was very funny. Oh, that's a nice man-up somebody did of you.
I did it.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the last
screen. Show him. Show him what you got. Show me what you got.
Thank you.
I, on the other hand, have Black Panther from Boss Logic, which is also dope. When you activate it.
And also have, that was odd there.
There you go. And, of course, oh my god, my allergies, I gotta sneeze. Killmonger was right. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. Justice League, so wait, how many times have you seen it?
I don't remember.
Really?
Yeah, I work-wise saw it twice in the theater, and then at least another 2 or 3 other times with another set of group of people.
You missed it. I think that was that last week? I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when I did the, yeah, it was last week, Valentine's Day we did a live commentary, and M-Dog from Echo Mog Media Group was like, man, where's DC Son? I need some support. He was like, yeah. I need some help here.
Sorry, bro.
Defending,
I was
defending that movie.
On,
a mountain.
Yeah, on a mountain, and the upside to it is I got the chance to snowboard for the first time in like 3-4 years.
Oh, okay.
Downside to it is next day, everything from my kneecaps down was just sore because
it just
hurt.
What are your predictions for honest trailers? This is a big one.
Other than Akasan laughing his ass off, I would say complaints about CG.
Yeah.
And I don't mean on Superman, I mean in general.
Yeah,
like being CG heavy in some areas or too light in others. Definitely CG malfunctions with
Lamel.
Yeah. Henry Cavill's character. And maybe story.
Okay.
You?
CG mouth is going to be a huge one. They're going to talk about the rushed version. They'll probably mention something about the Snyder Cut as well.
I am one of those people, I'd like to see it, not because it's like, oh, Joss did a horrible job and Snyder could have done it better. I just want to see what the difference is.
Okay. But I don't think it'll be as funny as the BVS one. The BVS honest trailers to date was probably the best one.
Best one.
I only say that because I feel that Justice League could have been a lot worse. And so, well, we'll see. All right. Be a try not to laugh challenge. There would be no challenge. Here we go.
I can feel you laughing
Somewhere
already.
Between the awful Suicide Squad and the excellent Wonder Woman, a new DC movie will get it split down the middle.
Yeah.
But when the best comic book characters ever unite for a film that's just okay, you blew it again.
Yeah.
How does this keep happening?
Yeah.
Justice League. In the midst of a production beset by tragedy, Warner Brothers bravely forged ahead so executives could keep their bonuses, mixing Zack Snyder's trademark gloom with the optimism of Joss Whedon and the priorities of Brett Ratner's production company.
Yeah, that was rough.
You're gorgeous. that results in its own signature blend of orange. Lots and lots of orange. Man, I wish they'd release the Snyder Cut. Also, man, I wish the Snyder Cut wasn't a made-up fanboy pipe dream.
Oh!
That looks like it's being rendered right before your eyes. Where this CGI villain steals these CGI boxes from their CGI hiding places, uniting these CGI heroes in a big CGI fight on a CGI battlefield until the CGI hero merges with the CGI box, while the CGI villain gets punched in the mouth by the hero with a mouth made out of CGI. Ugh, that just looks wrong. Meet the Justice League, a bunch of sad losers.
Only left alone. If you stay up here brooding and processing, I wouldn't count on the tribes of men.
I need friends.
Who occasionally make jokes now.
Dostoevsky.
There's Wonder Woman, the three-dimensional hero turned into girl hung up on her ex.
I lost someone I loved. I once knew a man who would have loved to fly it. But it's your fault. They're all Steve Trevor.
Poseidon, king of the broken. Cyborg, who's there.
Yep.
Booyah.
Spider-Man, who in this movie goes by the Flash.
Yep.
Superman, and God, mouth is so distracting. Poor Henry Cavill worked out for months for this role, but all I can look at is weird fake baby mouth. They really couldn't just shave his mustache, or grow a beard, or, you know, delay the movie.
Or just
And of
keep him in the
course,
beard with the black suit.
Batman. He may not be that tough. Or that smart.
So your genius move is dying.
Or that careful with his secret identity.
Just like a bat. You're out of your mind, Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
You're the Batman?
As a bat signal, that's your...
Oh,
Sorry. That's your signal.
but. Wait, there's no but? That's a shame. He was the best part of the last one. Prepare for the arrival of Steppenwolf, DC's scariest horn-helmeted minor god villain with a giant bladed weapon since the movie right before this one. He's got a generic look, a generic motivation,
Live only to conquer.
and super generic dialogue.
Find the last one. Its power will cleanse this world. You're all too weak to see the truth. I am the end of worlds.
But no character since Buster Bluth has ever been this much of a mother lover.
Mother, I know, mother. Praise to the mother. I see, mother.
Cut from the
What the hell
movie.
is that?
These are my words, Mother. From Army.
How is it possible they ripped off everything from the Avengers except the good villain? It's not stealing if you do it for yourself.
Wow.
After all the intricate plotting of Batman v Superman, check out a sequel that says, whoops, never mind, pretending Batman knew Clark Kent for more than 15 minutes,
I'm a teenage Clark.
pretending the world didn't hate Superman before he died,
So much bitterness.
I was thinking about
Of course,
that.
I think it's all because he's gone.
and pretending that bizarre Flash nightmare sequence never happened.
Yes! Thank you.
I mean, that was clearly meant for when this movie was going to be a two-parter, right?
I
Where
guess
the
so.
Avengers felt like the end of the beginning for the MCU. Experience DC's big
Beginning
team-up
of the
movie
end.
that just kind of feels like the end,
Yeah.
where they emptied out their Easter egg cupboard, united all their biggest superheroes, and tried everything they could to make it look like they still cared.
You know you can't do this forever.
I can barely do it now.
That.
It's a shame, too. They were just starting to take some real steps toward heroism.
Save one.
Yeah. That's true.
Save one person.
Okay, baby steps. Starring a wad of tinfoil scrunched around
Ooh.
Jason Moana, the Dark Night Owl, the DCEU Hunger Games champion, Super Tie-Dye, the voice of Warner Brothers,
We might not have thought this.
Deadpool, Deathstroke, Smashed Mouth, Spider-Car, does whatever a spider car does. Oh, Miles Dyson, when will you learn? Mike Pence,
I know, mother.
Speeder Parker, and they recast Luther?
Nah.
Here for a glass of Goudet Diamant.
Aww.
Nah.
And not starring. Trailer shots and scenes that weren't in the final movie. Aquaman consumed by water.
Yeah. Right.
Cyborg as a human in a Letterman jacket.
Yep.
Yeah.
The I didn't think you were real scene.
No.
Didn't think you were real.
I realize useful.
Cyborg fighting a tank and talking to a cop.
You should probably move.
Flash fighting a parademon. Cyborg is a human playing football.
Yep.
The original blue color palette end sequence. Bruce looking at holographic Superman.
Yeah.
Barry breaking glass.
Yeah.
Alfred talking to a mysterious visitor.
You said you'd come.
And Lois and Clark discussing their engagement.
I'll take that as a yes.
What?
Warner Brothers presents Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Part 1 of 1. So, why does everyone in this movie have super smelling?
Fear. I can smell it.
The demons must have got the scent of a mother box.
The scent is on you.
You could smell a story.
You recognize that smell?
You smell good.
Did I not before?
Alright.
Burrito.
Alright. Not as bad as I thought.
My hammer just
Not as
got
bad as I
nailed.
thought.
Elon Musk.
How you doing?
I'm fine. The complaints they're making are quite valid.
Valid, okay.
The way Snyder had it set in the beginning, where they didn't have all that orange background and stuff like that,
Right.
looked more like the backdrop that was used in some of the scenes for BVS, which placement-wise would have made sense.
Right.
Just looking at backgrounds. Doesn't have to be in Gotham, but in general, it looked like it fit. The CG stuff, I don't care too much about the CG over CG over CG because there's a lot of things you can't do
Right.
without it.
I agree.
But it shouldn't be overused.
Right. And
That in some scenes it is. Why they didn't?
I like how they said it.
Why they didn't just keep the scene with him with the him meaning Superman with the beard and put him in the costume as it is or in the black costume and then lead on from there. I understand why they're looking at, hey look, his schedule's not matching, we need to do reshoots or whatever, and he's already got this full face of hair that he can't cut because of the other movie shoot. Okay, so keep him in it, film around it, give a dialogue or two about it, so then it's not a big deal, instead of doing what they did and making everybody feel creeped out when he talks because it's creepy. And then having characters like Wonder Woman where you don't use it. Like the beginning of the movie opens up and is badass, then the later scenes of her dialogue seems about Steve Trevor
Really?
too much.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's like, wait, okay, Wonder Woman did just come out, but there's supposed to be a long gap of time between that. She's not going to be sitting there. It's like, oh, Steve Trevor, Steve Trevor, Steve Trevor.
I think they're what they're trying to do, and I get what you're saying is, but
they're trying to tie it in.
Right, they're trying to tie it in because it was the only popular DCEU movie.
Or in the most recent, but
Right.
still, from the time that happened to the time that movie ends, Wonder Woman, there's a huge gap of time.
Right.
And then from there to Justice League, there's a gap of time. Do we hear about Steve Trevor the whole time in BVS? No. So why are we hearing about it now? Doesn't make any sense. Steppenwolf talking about his mom, for people who don't know about it, it's because it actually got cut.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of a storyline where you have the mother boxes, and because they are coming from his home world, and he's actually tied to them, Cyborg actually locks into it to find out where the other ones are and how to stop it. And during that time period, that's when somewhat of an evil Superman or a dark Superman is released. Everything's tied together. You see the flashback with Flash coming to talk to Bruce Wayne, BVS, where they're talking about what.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And all of that actually ties together and makes it nice, neat, and makes sense. All that's cut.
From which version? The Snyder cut. Really?
Yeah, it's because it's even posted. It's even posted. You can actually see a lot of the deleted scenes and what they're being talked about or what's being discussed in it. A lot of it's being posted now, and you'll actually have it on Blu-ray too.
Right, but I heard that was just rumor. Like a lot of what.
No, because they actually have the footage and it shows. You even have Superman walking through the ship, and he's got the damn black costume right above his head.
Right, I saw that scene, but the evil Superman.
He's supposed to, so basically, instead of him being brought back by the League like that,
right,
he's actually brought back by the Mother Box via Steppenwolf. And Steppenwolf is using him.
When was that confirmed?
This is in the stuff that's been posted recently. Maybe in the past week or so.
Right?
Maybe in the past.
No, I saw that
weeks.
one Snyder storyboard, but
it's not just storyboard. They actually have stills of him in the costume, red eyes, everything, and it's not like the Photoshop stuff that you see posted. These are things that's been posted.
I
recently.
saw the How I Should Have Ended versions where they drew it all out like that, but
not like that. These are actually
I don't know about that one.
Shot scenes that don't get used. They're shot
Somebody
scenes don't get used.
confirm that for me. Leave the links down below because I'm pretty on top of the news when it's confirmed what. So in the last confirmed
But it wasn't
one,
in anyone's type of compilation trailer or anything like that. These are all like single posts and articles that are posted about the movie and why Snyder was cut, why they kept a tight lip about it, Well,
I've been reading up on that. No, the one thing that I saw was that was official, that was posted, was Snyder's storyboard, which was a whole nother flashback that they were going to do with the Hall of Justice underground, and Darkseid was going to show up. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck that. Like, as much as fans would have loved that, I think overall the bigger problem is that, and we were talking about this off camera, is it's nice that Snyder had an idea to do Justice League as a 2-part movie, but after BVS, you have to have a contingency plan in terms of like, yeah, I know his idea was to make Justice League a 2-parter, but I still think, even to like, it'd be interesting to see what a Snyder cut is, but my guess here is that even if Zack Snyder got what he wanted in part 1, we would have never made it to part 2. Because
why so?
Because if Zack Snyder made Justice League in the same format, in the same idea in the same mood of what BVS was, I understand that Justice League was supposed to be more redeeming and the heroes were going to be redeemed, and the scene with Superman coming out, black suit in the background as an Easter egg, whatever. I still think after BVS, nobody was going to want anything relatively close to BVS again. And it's hard, as a creator, I understand it's hard to fundamentally change your image of where you're going to do it. Right. But I understand where Warner Brothers would come in and they'd be like, well, this is too close to BVS. And if it looks anything like the last film that fucking bombed, we're going to lose money on it, which means we're never going to get to part 2 of Justice League. You see what I'm saying in that sense?
But it's also one of those just like, okay, even if it's similar to BVS, the entire movie doesn't have to. It can start off like that and lead completely different. Because remember, you're looking at an hour and a half to 3 hours of film.
I get that.
To do a lot with.
No, I understand.
But to sit there and just say, hey, this rough cut sucks, so we're cutting all of it. That doesn't make any sense, because as a creator, you're not going to have a perfect vision of what you want or what the production house wants the first go out. That's why it's called the rough. Once it's done, then that's when you have your big sit down and say, okay, hey, look, what is it that you want as the production house, and what is it that you want as the creator, and you find a middle ground.
Right.
That's what's supposed to happen.
I personally think that
I feel a lot got cut out, and it made the story weaker than it could have been. And they filled it in with CG because of time.
Oh yeah, no. I think there was somewhat of a misstep by Warner Brothers to basically Avengers it up, which is why they brought Whedon in to try to fix what Snyder had started. But I still don't think that a Snyder vision would have successfully gotten us to part 2, would have turned around an audience who's already a general audience who's already turned off by BVS. To be like, oh, it's the same guy that did Batman v Superman, and then on top of that, the whole reputation of Suicide Squad, all that stuff, to just continue, it's just digging the hole deeper and deeper for the general audience.
Do you think that this version did a better job
than if Snyder did yeah, I think for what they were going for what Warner Brothers was, and I'm looking at it from the marketing side of, they're like, shit, Wonder Woman did really well. All right, you know what? Let's add more Wonder Woman scenes in there, and let's start pushing Wonder Woman more. So everybody that saw Wonder Woman and really liked that movie will at least try to see that opening weekend for Justice League and get more people in there. Had they not have,
that's hard.
Right, but had they not have done that and tried to focus more on Wonder Woman, add more Wonder Woman scenes, I think it would have performed worse actually, because people would have been like, the super fanboys would have praised the movie regardless. Opening weekend, people would have been like, well, it's same shit we got in BVS, or same kind of moody mood type of thing, and it's like, wait, we gotta wait another 1 to 2 years to get more of these stories concluded. People just don't have time for this. I said this on Twitter before. It's like, this isn't like making a monthly comic book, where you can hold out for a month or even 2 months if there's a delay to see how the story ends.
You wait too long, people stop caring.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I think after...
Like the Entourage TV series, it was decent, and then when they waited too long and then came out the movie, no one cared anymore.
Okay.
Or like Ruby as well.
Yeah, like Ruby. And so that's my thing, is like, I feel bad for the dude in a sense, Snyder, is because he had this greater vision of trying to do it in 3 movies. I actually, even before that, I feel bad for him because he didn't even want to do Batman. He wanted to do Man of Steel 2 before he even touched anything else.
Which I think would have been better.
Yeah, I agree too. So I kind of feel bad because he's always like WB's lapdog, and he becomes the fall guy because of this. But, you know, he could always say no, and maybe that's what happened.
I think it would have been better to have his cut come out, or at least have it available when the Blu-ray comes out.
Yeah.
Not just for comparison's sake, but story-wise, I feel it would have been better to have him keep the general story how it was, and then if you have Joss come in to do reshoots or something like that, and have that added on to it, as opposed to carving, cutting, and trying to paste it back together, because there are some parts that don't make sense.
Right.
And then, yes, not having enough Wonder Woman in the movie would have turned me off, because I liked the movie, but also I like that you have a female character that's there, and having the only one that's there, her not having scenes would be stupid and a loss.
Right.
But at the same time, don't make her a damsel in distress. That's not her character.
I don't think she ever was in Justice League.
Well, she's coming off a lot weaker than she was in her
Moby. Yeah, they wrote that in a sense so her and Bruce Wayne share something, like...
Yeah, which is...
Yeah, hang-ups, basically.
But that's the thing. She's been around much longer than him. She doesn't have to have that written in for her character to understand him. Because she has that much life experience, it's not that hard for her to understand human connection. That's one of her strengths, humanity. So doing that just takes away from her character.
Okay. I mean, what I will say, the main thing I will say about this Justice League is I much rather prefer this Justice League movie than another Snyder Justice League movie, which eventually will layer into waiting another 2-3 years, or 1 to 2 years of people being of fans bickering with each other, another polarizing type movie where you're like, damn, and then it just gets lower and lower. I guess the point I'm trying to make is I rather them just I prefer the fact that they just tried to finish this up, and I think that's what WB is essentially was just thinking. They sank so much money into this one. Let's just finish it up. We don't want to think about a sequel, and let's just start focusing on solo films from this point on instead. I'm sort of siding with WB on this side, because even when I started hearing that Justice League was going to be a 2-parter, I'm like, can we just finish this Zack Snyder world in one after BVS? And I think that's what a lot of people were really feeling after BVS. It's like, this is not the universe we were promised type of deal. So
I would have been happier with 2, because I
mean, of course you would have, yeah.
Well, not just as a Justice League fan, but as a fan of story, because having more time to fill the characters out, let people get used to them, build on them, it would have made more sense to have it as 2. And if his storyline, we'll never know what his initial vision was, because it gets cut short. But if it's anything
Lois was the key. No. Batman went to go get her, and that's she was the key.
If it's anything like his interviews when he started filming, it was to have the heroes deal with the darker sides of humanity, their personalities, things like that. They're in the gutter, and then bring them back up where we're supposed to see them. Okay, that's fine. Because then there's a redeeming quality for, or something redeeming for all the characters, not just Superman or not just Batman. For all of them, because there's a team.
Right.
That's fine. But because that doesn't happen, we now miss story. We now miss an opportunity to make the characters as a whole better than what we started off with, which is where you have the BVS where people are mixed. So build it up and make it better from there. But instead, you cut it. Now it's like, well, let's just start over. Starting over doesn't make it better.
Interesting. It's an interesting theory.
Because then you're looking at, okay, let's do another Batman movie.
I think they're pretty. Yeah, I don't know. They might be dead. That might be a dead in the ground
And
idea
even if it's not,
as well.
it's like, hey, you have just like any other property, you have a ton of characters to choose from. Do something different.
Well, we got Aquaman coming up. I heard the initial reactions are positive, but they say that about every WB/DC film that comes out. So initial reactions are positive. I don't know. I'm personally I'm so glad it's over with. I would like them to semi restart or something, or I just feel like their biggest strength right now is just try to semi soft reboot like DC Rebirth or something, where just put out solo movies, no more team ups. Try to let us love the characters first, you know? People fell in love with Wonder Woman not because she showed up in BVS, it's because she had a story that people liked and that generally people could adapt to it. Same thing with Black Panther. He was popular after Civil War, but Black Panther was its own take that people were showing up for. I just would like Warner Brothers to and DCU just to focus on their solo
movies
and let us actually feel the characters first before telling us that we should feel for them in a team up movie. I think so.
Well, at this point, it's like you've already had a team up movie and it did so.
Right.
It did well, but not as well as you expected to.
Right.
Okay. If you're going to keep the team, have more positive writing.
Yeah.
Have a stronger story.
I agree.
And if you're going to bring in a villain, make it be Darkseid or Brainiac, someone that's larger than life, but make the story stick and strong with all of that, and cut back on the CG.
Yep.
Save the CG for your battle sequences only, with the big bad. Everything in between, keep it simple.
It's like Justice League War.
That would be awesome.
Really?
Justice League War would be so much better.
Personally, I feel that that's exactly what we had.
No. Because Justice League War, the animated movie, was great compared to all the mishaps we see going through.
But I feel like they had concepts of Justice League War in the actual movie we saw, and
you have parts of it.
And I feel
because you're building that from BVS.
Well, the biggest problem I had with Justice League War was the fact that they undercut Darkseid. Like, they just made him like the non-speaking, freakish monster Doomsday. In Justice League War, he growled sometimes. He talked a little bit,
but that's another reason why it would have made more sense to have the live action as two movies, because slamming everything into one. You know how we talk about movies being rushed?
Yeah.
That's how that would have felt.
But just like I'm saying, dude, this isn't Harry Potter. This isn't Star Wars and shit. These properties, and even that with Harry Potter, if Harry Potter was a movie by itself, that would have never worked, a two-parter thing. But the idea that people already know that books have been completed, just like Lord of the Rings, books have been completed, so they know, okay, well, it's going to be good, or they know what's going to happen.
But comic books have been completed.
But
graphic novels,
but not in this sense where Snyder's vision or whatever. There hasn't been something where it's like, boom. Even with the Marvel stuff, we know what the Infinity Gauntlet is. We know what the Infinity War is. So we have some sort of inclusion of what it's going to lead into. I just don't think. But even with Marvel, they have their own stories are strong enough to stand on their own, but they have little inklings that there's more to come later. But they don't make it overall. Like, you don't see fucking all of Wakanda coming in during the Civil War fight, and here's some vibranium, I guess that's the main
But that's
point. Is
another
that
reason
there's
why
not
I
a
wouldn't
lot.
put everything into
Right.
one movie.
There's not a lot of stuff, and that's what they've been doing since the beginning with BVS. I think.
Not really. BVS didn't have
I think
enough in it.
there's enough and Easter egg left and right. That's yeah, okay. Anyways, Red Red Nation, what do you guys think? Are you on Team DC, Sun, or Team Akasan? Are you more? What are you more Snyder? I'm taking the studio side on this one.
For me, it's not a studio side, a Snyder side. It's a give me a story. Stop throwing money. You don't need $200, $300, $400 million to make a good movie.
I know.
Black Panther is a good
Right.
good way of showing that. Wonder Woman is a good way of showing that. You don't need all this extra money to waste when you can have a good story and keep things simple and build from there. That's what I want. You can have a good team up without all
Right.
the extra money and focus on story.
Then if that's the case, then they shouldn't have hired Zack Snyder from the beginning. When it comes to good story, story.
But it's hard to say that because he has good vision and he has good ideas
somebody-
and concepts, but he needs a good team to help him focus on what's
which is fine.
important
But when it
and
comes
what's
to
good.
story, no, visual director, by all means, fight the coordinator, whatever, image-wise, yeah. But when it comes to story, actual story, you don't. Nobody needs 3 movies to make a good story when you can do it in one. So,
Star Wars.
what?
Star Wars.
Yeah, but they stand alone. Each one stands alone on its own.
But it's a concurring story. That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
but you can
having
watch
one
right.
big story broken down.
But you can
makes more
watch
sense.
one by itself.
Yeah.
And still be like, damn, that was really good. Not like, man, okay, so I gotta wait 2 years for. Okay,
Well, you have to
like
do that for Star Wars too. Man. Come on. You have to wait 2 years to see each.
But you can still,
episode.
but you can still enjoy. You can still enjoy what you saw and not be scratching your head like, damn, wait. So what did that mean when damn? I really gotta wait.
No, because everyone does that with The Last Jedi. Fans are 50-50. You have a lot of people that are like, what was that? How come she did this? Or how come he was able to do that? And they didn't do this with Luke. There's the complaint side and there's, hey, I enjoyed this for what it was and it was a good movie. You have people that are opposing on both sides.
Yeah, those are the same kind of people to be like, well, they didn't give any backstory to why Superman could do freeze breath in Justice League. Does it really need explanation?
No.
Right?
So that's what I mean. Have an
Alright, this might go for like a long time. Alright, let me know what you guys think. Yep, as I thought. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think and
more story.
Yeah. I'm fine. I don't want more story. I just want a completed story with little teases. And that's enough. Like you said.
Yeah.
Good story, just
yeah,
not
good
more.
story.
More is not always better.
Not rushed projects.
Yeah, more is not always better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Infinity War. Alright, later guys.